Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Monster Review, where we take a look at tech tips and how-to videos. So a very popular question I get asked a lot is, which smart display should I get? Should I get the Lenovo smart display or should I get the Google Home Hub? This one is older than that one. This one I believe has a year on this one. This one was released last year, so it's fairly new. Which smart display is better? Alright, so right off the bat, you notice that this smart display is bigger than this one. That's because this has an 8-inch display and this has a 7-inch display. Now another thing that's not really noticeable is that there is no camera on here. You have this little sensor, but that is just a light sensor. The Google Home Hub has no camera, and according to Google, that was done intentionally, both to keep your privacy and also keep the cost down for this smart display. The Lenovo, however, has a camera that's built in right here. And another cool thing is that there's a switch, so you can open the camera, and when you're not using it and you don't want anyone spying on you, you can just close the camera. But now with that camera, you have the ability to make video calls to other people who also have a smart display running Google that has a camera. That's not to say though you can't make calls with the Google Home Hub. You can indeed make calls with the Google Home Hub, but you can only do voice calls. An interesting design choice is that they chose to put the speaker on the left side of the display rather than hiding it behind the display like Google did. Both displays have the same functionality in terms of switches, where you can put up the volume, lower the volume, and mute the mic.
The mic's back on.
And the same with the Google Home Hub on the side right here, where you can turn up the volume, lower the volume, and mute the mic. On the Google Home Hub, there is a orange light that turns on when the mic is muted.
Mic is muted.
There is nothing. However, you do get a banner that will not go away until you unmute it. Another feature on the Lenovo Smart Display is that you do get a USB Type-C port under the display. Although this USB port is strictly just for the factory use and it's not for consumer use, so it's not really a feature unless someone can figure out how to hack it. Now let's talk about design. Which one does it better? Well, I mean, it depends on what you want. If you have a small kitchen and you're looking for a small but functional smart display, then the Google Home Hub would definitely be the one for you. However, if you have a big kitchen and you have room for a larger smart display, then this might be the smart display for you. However, don't make that decision yet. There's much more to this video. We all know that both of these smart displays can do the usual things like finding you directions to work, looking at traffic, showing you search results, pulling up YouTube videos to show you how to cut up an onion, and also pulling recipes from the web and taking you step by step on how to cook whatever you're looking to cook. Those are features that you get on both display because it's not really part of the display, it's actually part of the OS. However, we do have to mention that although they're running the same OS, they're not technically running the same OS. The software that the Lenovo uses is based off of Android things, and the software that the Google Home Hub uses is based off of Chromecast. However, they look very identical, they look the same, they function the same. In my book, they're pretty much the same thing. So let's start with the Google Home Hub. So obviously, you can pull up any YouTube video that you want. So there's my YouTube video on the Google Fi review. It plays, plays like it should on the Google Home Hub, but it's not exactly new. Everyone knows you can do this. However, things get trickier when you try to play Netflix. So YouTube, Hulu, Plex, all those apps, they work fairly well with the Google Home Hub. you can stream it just like any Chromecast device. You can stream it onto the display. The only thing that doesn't work is Netflix. And what I mean by Netflix not working is that when you hit the Chromecast button on the top, your smart display doesn't show up. However, there is a workaround. So if you have an Android phone, you can go into the cast, you can select your display, and then from there you can open up Netflix and you can play your video.
First time we look back at our own planet.
Granted that you don't lock your phone. So that's one way to get Netflix on the Google Home Hub. And no, you cannot control the Netflix player within the Google Home Hub. You have to actually use the phone. Now here's a crazy part. Go back in the cast setting. Here is the Google Home Hub, which shows up fine, but guess what is not showing up under the cast setting? You guessed it. The Lenovo Smart Display is not showing up, and the only thing I can think of is it's because of the type of OS that it's running, which is Android things. So sadly, if you really love Netflix, you cannot get Netflix onto the Lenovo Smart Tablet. There's no way around it, like there is with the Google Home Hub, which is to cast your screen to it. But Hulu and YouTube and all these other apps, they work fine with the Lenovo Smart Display.
The following is intended only for mature audiences.
And you can pause and okay, so the Lenovo Smart Display 8-inch model is a 1280 by 800, which has 188 pixel per inch, and the Google Home Hub is 1024 by 600 and has 198 pixel per inch. So yes, the Lenovo display has a higher resolution. However, the Google Home Hub has a higher pixel per inch than the Lenovo display. This just means that, you know, you're less likely to see pixelation with the Google Home Hub than you would with the Lenovo display. However, that is not the case. There is no pixelation going on here, so don't even worry about that. Now let's talk about sound. How is the sound on each speaker? Well, let's start with the Lenovo.
So seeing that we both get a 10 gigabyte allowance, we should be golden. That 10 gig is actually shared between us. And if you look through their plan page, no way work is that you pay for the data you want. I went with 10 gigabyte for me and my wife, and if you go over 10 gigabyte, your bill won't be more expensive than said price. Speeds will be slowed down after 22 gigabyte. If you go under 10 gigabyte, Google Fi will refund you.
When you play video from here and you play video from here, you can hear the difference right away. The touchscreen on the Lenovo Smart Display is very responsive, and same with the Google Home Hub. The touchscreen is, you know, just as responsive. No problems whatsoever. And the last thing we can test out here is the mic, the far field mics. So my air handler is running, so there's some ambient noise going on. That's definitely going to make this test more realistic, because a lot of times when you're trying to use these smart display speakers, your house isn't necessarily the quietest place, especially if you have kids and the TV's running, or you're cooking, the microwave's running, things like that. So first, let's test the Lenovo Smart Display. All right, so I'm about 15 feet from the Lenovo Smart Display. Hey Google, what's the weather like tomorrow?
Tomorrow in Jacksonville, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 82 and a low of 69 degrees Fahrenheit.
All right, doing the same test again. I'm about 15 feet from the Google Home Hub. Let's see. Hey Google, what's the weather like tomorrow?
In Jacksonville tomorrow, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 82 and a low of 69 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, this time I'm about 25 feet from the Google Home Hub. Hey Google, what's the weather like tomorrow?
Tomorrow in Jacksonville, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 82 and a low of 69 degrees Fahrenheit.
Same test, different speaker. Let's test the Lenovo Smart Display. Hey Google, what's the weather like tomorrow?
In Jacksonville tomorrow, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 82 and a low of 69 degrees Fahrenheit.
So both mics picked me up very well. However though, the speaker on the Lenovo I was able to hear it much more clear than the Google Home Hub, and also the display, because of that 1 inch on the Lenovo display that we get, I was also able to see, really couldn't make it out on the Google Home Hub as well as I did on the Lenovo Smart Display. Now the last and final thing I want to talk about is price. Let's talk about price. So it's no secret, the Google Home Hub is the cheapest, coming in at $150, and that's if you pay full price. If you get this thing for a steal or a deal, a clearance sale, whatever, you can pick it up for about $100. I've actually been seeing it for $80 from Rakuten and eBay, so you can definitely pick this thing up for a steal. The Lenovo Smart Display is a little bit pricier. This comes in at $200, brand new. However, you can also snag this for a deal. You can get it for about $150, probably pick it up for $100. It's kind of far-fetched because this thing isn't really at $100 as often as the Google Home Hub. However, if you have no problem buying refurbished, then you can pick this up dirt cheap. This I paid only $60 for on eBay from a seller who claimed that he refurbished it. However, when I got it in the package, it was actually refurbished by Lenovo. So I mean, it's not bad for $60. It was grade A. There was no scratches, no dents, no marks, nothing like that. There was no defects whatsoever, and the software ran fine. The speaker worked fine. Everything worked fine. So as far as I'm concerned, I got this thing for a steal, and you can too if you don't mind buying refurbished. So if you were to pay full price and you don't need the camera and you don't need the big display and you don't need that awesome speaker, then the Google Home Hub is a very attractive smart display. It's cheaper, and you get the added benefit of being able to screencast your phone so you can watch like Netflix, for example. You can't do that on a Lenovo display. However though, if you and the family are trying to invest in a piece of technology that will allow you guys to stay connected and also keep you connected to your smart home, then the Lenovo, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. It has a camera so you can do video calling. Don't forget, you can also do calling on the Google Home Hub. It's not video though, it's just voice, but you can do video and voice calling on the Lenovo. It's a great way for you and your family to keep in touch. Now of course, if you're not tied down to the Google ecosystem, there are other competitors out there. Let us not forget Alexa. But yeah, if you're tied to the Google ecosystem and your family's tied to the Google ecosystem and you're trying to decide whether to go Google or Lenovo, hope this video was able to help you. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you thought this video was helpful. If you thought it was awful, thumbs down work also. Thanks for watching. Peace!